When the issue of medical care comes up, all too often the first word is Obamacare. Now, love it or hate it, there are still people on both sides of this argument being left out in the cold. But right around the corner, perhaps closer and more accessible than any doctor, is a place that maybe should be getting more attention. Our guest is co-founder of the Zarephath Health Center in Somerset, New Jersey, a free clinic that offers health care to the poor and uninsured. Alieta Eck joins MidPoint today. Alieta, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Alieta, it would seem that free clinics have actually become something very sought after these days because, and I'm sure you're finding this out, so many people are confused about their health care. They're having health care dropped. Medicare, Medicaid, my goodness, it's a disaster. Free clinic seems like the answer.
We started this clinic 11 years ago, Zarephath Health Center in New Jersey. And we have found people that have Medicaid who come to us because they can't find a physician. People have Obamacare. Their deductible is way too high. They end up coming to our clinic. And we're just meeting a need that has been there and will not go away.
Go into a little detail, if you will, about what this has taught you about Medicare and what you are learning from these patients as they come to see you.
Now, it's Medicaid, not Medicare.
I'm sorry, please. Yes, Medicaid.
Right. Medicaid is for the underserved or people who can't afford health care. The whole idea is that it's costing the taxpayers way too much. It's a third of the New Jersey budget, and most budgets of the states, it's that high, Medicaid. And it doesn't really provide access to care because the paperwork and the regulations and the bureaucracy are so huge that doctors shun it. And then at the end of the day, they get paid so little that they wind up caring for people for free. That's why we started our clinic, saying if we're going to do it for free, let's get help. Let's get the community involved. And we could help people with food, clothing, and everything that they might need in their time of trouble. And then we help them get out of it so that they get jobs and then they transition back to our private practice, which is 10 miles away.
Alieta, how disastrous is all of that paperwork? Because certainly, I mean, you know it, and I've heard other doctors talk about it, and that's what Obamacare has forced them into. Many doctors say they simply can't be doctors anymore.
We have a new volunteer in our clinic. She was working for an urgent care center who ended up just closing up because it could not deal with all the paperwork and the cost of that paperwork and the electronic medical records and all of those things that are being mandated under Obamacare. She's now a volunteer in our clinic and has to be looking for a job.
Are we looking at a time right now where simply because of what's happening that these free clinics are going to become more important in America because people simply are going to go there and they know that they're at least going to get decent care? I know people who go to doctors right now, they don't feel as if they're getting really good care anymore.
Well, actually, the cost to provide care in our clinic when everybody volunteers is only $13 per patient visit. It's extraordinarily cost effective, and we get no money from taxpayers. In fact, I would shun money from taxpayers. It's just the wrong way to do charity. So, yes, it's a model that is so much better. Obamacare is not something we oppose because we don't want people to get care. It's because we do care about patients, and that's why we need a better model. We don't know what's going to happen with the Supreme Court. There's going to be chaos no matter what happens.
I think that's partially what you're talking about, too. You're talking about a community, though, who gets together on this. You said $13 a person? Is that per visit?
That's all it costs. That's all it costs to provide patient care. People don't get charged. We have the federal government that gives us malpractice protection for what we do in the clinic. And they stipulate that we can't charge the patients, but they'll put a couple dollars in the donation box. And then we have regular donors who help us to come up with that $13. That buys medicine and pays for our charts and paperwork and telephone, but we don't have to pay any salaries.
I've only got about 30 seconds left here, unfortunately, but what do these people tell you? I mean, there must be a tremendous amount of relief and thanks from a lot of these patients because you're giving them something that they just feel as if they've been overlooked.
There is no question. It's extraordinarily satisfying to meet a need that the people come in front of you, they know that we're volunteering, and they're so grateful. So it is a wonderful model for physicians.
It is a free clinic. It is, and again, recent stories talk about free clinics saving health care in America. It's in Somerset, New Jersey, and you're doing a marvelous job. It's just good to see people getting the health care they need and communities getting together for it. Alieta, thanks so much for sharing the story. Good luck. Hopefully we'll drive some more donations to you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, it's my pleasure. He is at the moment perhaps the most wanted man in the world, once a faceless British voice. Now the man wearing the baseball hat of an American franchise, and the search goes on to learn more about Jihadi John.